Hi, Tom from BlackToad Studio here, and this is going to be a little product review of the chapter approved Warlord Edition. So unless you've been living under a rock for a little while in the 40k universe, or we haven't been playing for a while, you may not be aware that, well, obviously 8th dropped this year, but also they're releasing chapter approves. It's basically an amalgamation of any rules, changes, updated points, etc. For that year, and that's what you'll be using to make your armies points wise from that point onwards. I'm not going to go through the actual chapter approved book because there's quite a lot of videos there already. However, what I thought I'd do is just go through the Warlord Edition, which I've got here in front of me, and I thought I'd show you the box it came in. So pretty standard fare card box, although for some reason they've printed a little thing on the back here, which is quite nice, but you know, probably losing that shortly. Inside the box, however, slightly different than the standard edition. So we get a few extra things here. We've got a couple of these plates here. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to get all these out of here, and then we're going to go through them. So I'll just cut back in a second. Okay, so here we have it. So quite a few extras with the Warlord Edition. I mean, for the price that I paid, I think it was £45 in the end. I was expecting obviously a little bit more, which is what I got in my opinion. So first of all, you got your chapter approved book here. So this contains all of the standard stuff that was in the normal chapter approved. I think it's the same book anyway. Also get here quite a nifty little detachment roster sheets essentially. So you can fill out your armies on here. It's quite nice. I mean, I don't know how much I'll end up using it, but I suppose it's quite nice if you're going somewhere you want to make a quick list out and write it out in a good format that everyone can read. Now, another thing that I was actually quite happy to get here was these objective markers and kind of, I think they're, Firestorm markers. So obviously, I think in chapter approved here, they've introduced all the Stronghold and Planet Strike rules like they used to be in the Planetary Annihilation book, I think, wasn't it? So this gives you a few extra markers here to use, and also objective markers and some ABCD. Well, I mean, I don't know what actually more objective markers, I'm presuming. Oh, sorry, it's the top of the attacker and defender concealed deployment markers. So yeah, it just gives a few more options when you're doing games to mark things on the board in a little bit more of a slightly nicer way. I mean, obviously I know there's quite a lot of objective markers out there anyway. And also 2 range rulers, just 9 inches. I think that'd be the one thing I think might find that quite handy for is marking out distances for like deep strike and things like that, because obviously you have to be 9 inches or further away, or further than 9 inches away, I should say. So yeah, that's that. Now a couple of extra bits here as well. So we've got 2 dials, and I actually really like these. These are actually, I probably end up using these quite a bit because it's one thing that I end up doing quite a lot is not remembering how many command points I've used. And these have basically got 2 dials on it, one for each player who's playing, a command point one and a victory point one. So really good for keeping track of how the game's progressing without having to constantly re-tot it up. I mean, obviously we do have pen and paper. This is a nice little extra. Quite nice little build as well. It reminds you of the things you get in the Relic board game actually for your life counters and things like that. So again, nice little extra. And over here, these are the first of all, we've got the cards up here. Now these, these are pretty good. I mean, to be honest, they're just the stratagems on card that come in the book. So it includes the new defender and attacker stratagem cards as well, so for the Stronghold Assault games, and I think the Planet Strike ones as well. Yeah, Planet Strike in there. But it does also give you all of the additional stratagems that have come for each of the races that are inside chapter approved, so that's quite handy. So if I'm having to go through the book, I'll just take the cards, and we've got that all there in one convenient location. Finally, and the bit that I actually really like, this is probably my favourite thing in the whole set here, are the mission cards. So it's basically all the missions that are currently available in I think in the rule books and in chapter approved. And each card has a nice detailed rundown of the mission you're playing. And I must admit, I think I like that because although the missions are quite, they're not exactly hard to understand. Sometimes when you're sort of getting halfway through the game, you think, oh, what was that rule again for this particular mission? And you flick through the book, try and find it. And this just means that the card, you can just have that to the side and just have a quick reference to it. So it was one of the things that was, I think, starting to worry me a little bit, and it still does to some extent, is that obviously more books that are released, the more times you end up having to look in multiple books to find what you need to know. If anyone's watching any of the actual chapter approved book reviews, you'll see obviously the rules in there for like match play have changed slightly. But there's not too many, so it's not a massive chore to remember, in my opinion. But this just means that you're not having to go through and pick out all the extra rules for each of the books and also the stratagems. Because I think the thing is, obviously all the cards you can buy now with each codex release have the stratagems in them as well. So unfortunately, although these are handy now, they will eventually become obsolete. So whereas the mission cards won't, because they'll just release more, I'm presuming, which means you can add more to these as long as they keep the same format and don't change it again. So, all in all, yeah, I think this gets a good thumbs up from me. I'm quite impressed with the level of extras you got with it. You know, and for a release that's just come out, you know, this year, it's quite nice to have the updates already done, including the point updates, all in one location. The only thing I just want to hope they do is that they, in my opinion, they should take the point costs out of the codexes and just have it released in a book like this every year, rather than having to, you know, because I think updating the points in the back of each rule book is going to be a pain for people who just don't want to have as many books around. So I think it should just be kept in one location. But you know, that at the end of the day, the codex is still coming out, so it's not really possible at the moment. I mean, maybe once everything's been released, you know, points changes can be put into like a chapter approved book. But anyway, that's beside the point. So I hope you enjoyed having a look through this product with me. So we'll see you in the next video. Take care.